This my mixtape's called This Shit on Sale. They like, this shit on sale? And I'm like, you ask them, hey, how much your song cost? They be like $1. Or you explain to them it's $1. It's 17 songs. I mean, it's $17 worth of the CD. I'm only giving it to you for $5. This shit is on sale. You getting 12 for free.
That's fire.
I don't get it. How your whole 17 album, 17 song mixtape called is about being a hustler, but I just gave you a marketing plan.
Yeah.
Because it's harder to actually go to somebody face to face and say, hey man, I got this CD, it's called The Shit on Sale, and then actually give a spill or a pitch.
Yeah.
But because you don't really love this shit. You just want to be a rapper.
That'll make me give him $17.
For sure.
If he said
sure.
that, if he pitched it like that, I'll be like, bro, here's $20.
But
let me get it.
But we come from having to figure out how to get our own school clothes. Not because our parents don't have the money to get the Guess shit, and that's what we was wearing, right?
Yeah.
The Guess or whatever the fuck we wearing, the DKNY or whatever we get.
South Pole when I was
South Pole, or the Fat Farm and shit.
Both.
So we got to figure out how to take this $20 that we got and figure out how to make this shit into $127.
Yeah, for a whole week.
And figure that shit out.
We gambling in middle school.
Y'all,
That's crazy. We really was gambling in middle school.
Yeah.
well, y'all shout out y'all Cash App. Corey Holcomb could get how much you said he can get? Y'all can get him down.
Every night, people shoot him something. You know what I'm saying? People shoot him something every now and then.
No. She's asking you to give your cash out.
Yeah, hit my cash out,
I
man.
don't care about Corey
It's
Holcomb.
my son's name.
I do. I care about Corey.
$JAHAZIEL 87.
There you
Cash
go.
at me, man. I got child
Cash
support
App.
too, man. Just so y'all know.
Bubba, go ahead. You cash out.
They say they got these cash app scams. They can take
Nah,
your
they
money.
can't.
You did that cash out?
I got cash app.
You
Mine is hashtag JAH 3000 3000. Ja 3000, shout out to 3 Stacks. That's my favorite artist.
I'm $ Coach Baruti.
That's easy.
But it's literally like we have enough money in our community alone for like we could kickstart. You know what I'm saying? We could kickstart.
Yeah, but we not-
But then
you
people
know
gotta
why we
believe
not
in.
gonna
But
do
people
it.
gotta believe in you.
It's not even about believing
Yes,
in
it
you.
is.
It is.
Yes, it is.
No.
Because the return of investment, right? ROI. If I kickstart you and then don't go on with that,
Yeah,
at least I want to see you make it.
yeah.
But if I don't even trust or believe that you will, I'm gonna use that as an excuse not to even invest.
Because there's such thing as an emotional return on investment.
Yeah.
So like, as long as if I gave you $5 and then I see your shit like progression, I can be like, I remember. You don't even have to say it out loud. I just remember I gave him $5, and it's good to see him excel. And it's just like, oh, and I had a conversation with somebody about like putting black owned business on their shit, because what that does is it limits your productivity, because people outside of being black are gonna see it and say, oh, it's just for black people.
Yeah.
And then so now you're depending on
Just
black people buying it. Like when you go to Chinatown, it don't say China owned, Chinese owned. It just say Chinatown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's not, they're not gonna turn away your white dollar. So if I own it and I'm the face, I don't have to say black owned. Even though that would be because black whatever. But when you put black owned, it limits your business, because now it becomes this thing where it's just a symbol of like, oh, this is a black thing. It's black to be black. Yeah, it becomes niche. And then so if you have a niche thing, we are black people. We're not monolith.
Well, why do you think that is so prevalent right now to stay black on, black on?
Because we want an identity.
Okay.
Like we want to have something to be like, hey, we black. And we blackity black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blackity black, and I'm black, and we all black, and then we all going to see Wakanda, and we all dressing up in like African garb, because that makes perfect sense for a Marvel movie. Like, because that's what we need. That's what we cling to. Like, but and then all the other people, they look at us and they say like, look at these guys, because even if the shit is just for white people, Like I never seen Taylor Swift be like, yo, this is white only, baby. Nah, if your black ass want to shake it off, then please do.
Yeah. I mean, that $1 billion that Black Panther 2 generates, what community is that gonna go to first?
To the J unit.
So you don't think to who?
J unit.
To who?
Not G unit.
J
J
unit.
unit.
Okay. Minus the ish, right? So you don't think it's important for black-owned businesses to say they're black-owned?
I think that's detrimental to your business.
Think it's detrimental?
Because what it is it's either black people are going to support it or they not. And if they not, then you isolated everybody else who's spending money. That's why there's black businesses that succeed, and then their competition don't compete with them. Like McDonald's and Burger King compete with each other. Like Steve Jobs, when Apple was going down, Bill Gates cut him a check because competition makes us both win. But if it's black owned and then all black people decided to just go focus on this black owned business, then all the other ones fail that do the similar thing because we black owned businesses and there can only be one.
If you notice when I do my music, the way I paint a picture, if you notice I don't use certain, because I don't have to, because I am, you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
It's like okay, if I got a song talk about my life, I take my feelings, I put it on these instrumentals, you know what I'm saying? I got the song instrumentals, you know. These experiences that I'm sharing could resonate with anybody that's been through it. But it is coming from me. If you come and see me perform, I am who I am, what I am. If I do a video, I am who I am, what I am. I don't have to go out of my way to make sure you know that. It doesn't make it any more true than it is. Right. Because I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I do understand that.
And it resonates with anybody that's got a heart and some kind of compassion or have been through anything. It's not just for my brothers. It's not just for us. It's for the person that's never been through it, to sit with it, to listen, to reflect on it, to feel it, and see what they gain from it as well. You know what I'm saying? I don't use the N-word in my music because I feel like if somebody like my music, they got the right to recite it verbatim. I can't say you can't rap my song. I can't say, hey, you bought my album and you came to my show and you bought my merch, but you can't say every word that I said in my song. No, you can. That's it. You support me and my family. So how about I'm going to just leave this word out the song so we can all sing it together and keep it like that.
Nobody got to get stomped.
and keep it like that because you may be, don't look nothing like me, and you may be supporting me more than the next person may be. You know what I'm saying?
What about all these other businesses, all the other owned businesses that are not black owned businesses that we as black people have supported? So now you have all of these black owned businesses who want to let you know, hey, come support me. You might not know that I'm a black owned business because you've been spending your money over there, but I'm showing you who I am, so come spend your money over here.
This is the jewel in an economy. It's not about who is spending the money. It's about how much of the money do you use inside the community. So it don't matter if you black owned and you taking the money that I'm giving you and it's going outside of our community anyway. So when you go to Mills and it's just all these Asian businesses, they let everybody patronize them, and then they keep that money inside. They spend money with each other. They buy produce from this produce market that's Vietnamese owned, or they buy their bread from this Vietnamese bakery.
They kickstart each other. As soon as they open the restaurant, they flood it.
Right. So it's cool. It's cool to. The idea is to accept everybody's money and keep that money in your community, or in your subgroup. So being black owned is not important as having black economy.
I see what you're saying though. I don't know, like I do do a lot of shopping with black-owned businesses, and I don't know if they ever advertised to me that they were that, but I just knew, you knew, yeah, because I'm like boots on the ground. I'm like going places where I'm like seeing vendors and I'm walking up to them and getting to know their businesses, and I guess they don't have to say it because I'm like actually. When it's a community in a village, you're actually like face to face, hand to hand. I like to shop like that.
Right.
I like to know who made my soap. I like to know where this shirt came. I like to see him at his vendor with his kids running around.
Right.
I want to buy something. Let me get your card. You know what I'm saying? And the card don't say black owned, but like I know you.
But you know it's a black.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm there for my community. Like I'm going to where we are and I'm shaking hands and I'm meeting people and forming relationships.
Right.
So, I mean, I get what both of y'all saying.
I mean, especially what I notice about people who gonna spend money is everybody. One thing about when you went, just like if you went anywhere and if it said these clothes were made with white people in mind, if that's what their slogan, you wouldn't shop there. Or maybe you would because we like that as a community. We would shop it. Yeah. But
I guess that's my point because we will shop there. But what about shopping with our own?
No, I'm not saying. I hope I'm not being misconstrued. I'm not saying that don't shop with black businesses. I'm saying when you promote your business and your marquee is black owned, then it puts a place. If it puts you in a place where black people have to support it, or you'll fail.
You say your business. You have a banner that says or a sign that says you're a black owned business. Mm-hmm. You're telling. It's easy for people who are not black to say, "Oh, they don't want my money."
Mm.
Okay.
So you can not have the sign there and just be a very good business person. Have a very good product. By the way, you do have a very good product.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And Jason, I owe you some sweet potato pies because she had some last time. She said, go outside and get Jason some sweet potato pies, and I totally forgot.
Yeah. What happened to the pies?
Mimi.
What happened to the pie?
Somebody ate them.
It's so good, man. It's so good, bro. I run across the gun line for them.
Check them out. Mimi's Chocolate, etc. Instagram, Facebook. Get your desserts.
Holiday.
Oh yeah. Actually, yeah.
Black owned business, y'all.
Yeah, she got it.
Black woman.
Yeah, she got some holiday specials going up, so you can check it out and get the information. She can take care of all of your Thanksgiving and your Christmas needs when it comes to sweets. So
fire too.
Yeah.
Oh man. No, I'm not just saying that because she over there.
No, yeah, I had the cheesecakes, man.
Yeah.
You got Oreo brownie.
Oreo brownie. Yeah. Okay. All right.
When we doing the wine and
yeah, we gotta do that
what
again.
we
man.
doing?
We gotta do that again, man.
That was on my birthday.
Oh,
I think about that often,
my
man.
goodness.
Yeah, actually, the next one is scheduled June.
Yeah.
Is time frame for the next one, and then
Why all the way in June?
Because there's another event that's happening in February called Mimi's Twisted Pop-Up. Okay. That's happening right over here, February 5th, Mimi's Twisted Pop-Up. We're going to have some high-end vendors, with some good quality products that are going to be out here. We're going to have some food trucks. It's going to be a brunch shopping experience.
Okay.
Right? And for everybody who has a birthday in the month of February, when we do the first one, you're going to get a free dessert from Mimi Chocolate, etc. to help celebrate your birthday.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my birthday is in February.
February 5th, mark your calendar. So, okay, so all right. So, the previous question was, does manhood matter? And it sounds like what we're saying is, a little bit of what we're saying is, maybe.
Whoa.
Right? So another question I would like to ask is, has America seen a black man? Has America seen a black man? A man who is black? Do we know what a black man looks like in America? Because what we describe, because what I'm hearing in the conversation, and I hear it often, is on some level, to quote unquote be successful. And maybe I should say that has America seen a successful black man? Maybe I should add successful to it, because in order to be successful, everybody basically agreeing and saying that on some level you got to capitulate. On some level you have to submit an aspect of yourself to be received in a way where people allow you to be a part of whatever they're doing, so that you can have what we consider financial success. Can you be a man, a black man, and do that?
I don't think that's just black. I think that's men in general. Like, especially like everybody has to conform in some way, except for the people that you don't see. But if you are a visible person with an at name where people can find you, not the people who like really run shit, but everybody else, they have to. Just like there's the guy who worked for Estee Lauder, and he made a comment about he put up a post about like Chingy or something.
Right.
He was white as the Bible pages.
Right.
And he was making $10 million a year.
Right.
And he no longer works there.
Yeah.
What happened to him? He put post about who?
It's a rapper.
Chingy.
Okay.
He
He lost his job because of the
Yeah, it was a picture that he reshared. I forgot what it wasn't even nothing crazy. Like but it was quote unquote offensive to somebody. So I think everybody has to bow depending on what you consider success.
Well, see, yeah,
what was your question again?
My question was, has America seen what we would call a successful black man? Because I think we would all agree that the closest thing that we could say that America's seen in terms of being a successful black man would be Obama. But Obama took a lot of crap.
Why?
Yeah.
Why
Obama?
Why Obama? I said that's what people would say, because he appears to be.
Yeah, I would never.
Successful.
I would never.
He rose. Huh?
The name I had is Farrakhan.
Yeah, fair. Y'all don't understand.
That's the name I had.
I said America.
The masses.
America.
They would say Obama. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? They would say, you know, people.
Who you said?
I would say Kanye.
You would say
If
Kanye?
he's rated himself of all those contracts, I mean, you're not going to reach success without some turmoil.
I mean, that's good.
That's
No,
fair.
because literally, we're witnessing him say what's on his mind, and you know that you're not supposed to ever do that.
Right.
But I do feel like Farrakhan was the first to like really do that on a grander scale, though.
I mean,
Like,
yeah,
he
you
would
say
say
most of them on every platform because of that, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because he's speaking eloquently with
Yeah,
intelligence.
because
You know what I'm saying?
Obama definitely fucking bowed to every
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, in every corner.
every way he could bow.
They got mad at him for wearing a fly suit. They were like, you don't wear that
They were at him, right?
in the White House.
They're at him, right? So
I mean, they call him Obama when he was the president, and that's right. That's never been done before.
Damn.
Like people don't even realize that. They don't even notice that. Like you don't call the sitting president like.
No, you said.
Yeah, we never said Clinton or Bush
Yeah.
or
It's President
George.
People even correct you if you say Trump. They be like President Trump
Yeah.
or 45. You don't just be like Obama.
That's crazy.
Like I used to sell health insurance like in the height of the Affordable Care Act, what people call Obamacare was called the Affordable Care Act.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking to people who are poor white people. The shit that Obamacare is designed for. And the first thing when I pick up the phone, they're like, I don't want no damn Obamacare. It's called the Affordable Care Act, but okay. So yeah, I'm giving them the prices. I'm giving them. How you expect me to pay for that? I actually don't. That's actually why I'm calling you. This shit is free for you. but that's like he didn't get no respect. Even though he did whatever he was supposed to do in office, he did that shit for white folks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I was gonna say, he ain't doing
that.
Yeah.
He's wilding. But I mean, yeah, Kanye would be a great representation of that because it's almost like people so quick to say. It's this thing now when you say what's on your mind, you're mentally ill. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you're a brother. You know, even though you could just be saying what's on your mind, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be eloquent or articulate. But somehow you're out of your mind. You're mentally ill. You have CTE or whatever. Anything to just not to try to just
Make people not listen to you.
yeah, just say, well, him speaking his mind got to be because of something, because that's not how you speak your mind. Yeah, it's got to be something off there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said things that, yeah, I mean, that's great. I was going to say Marshawn Lynch.
Byron Allen.
Who?
Man.
Byron
What
Allen.
channel?
No, not
Byron.
America. I'm saying there's not a lot of people that know about Byron Allen. Even though he did stand up for himself and he won a big lawsuit for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he owns the weather channel.
Yeah, he
owns a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know about him.
I just told him.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You did.
But there was one point, Marshawn Lynch never missed words. You know what I'm saying? Like he said, I'm just here so I won't get fined.
But that was
Hey, but they-
Does he
like
still
they're
play?
still under some type of
Yeah,
stipulation.
they tried.
Does he still play?
No, but he was keeping it real. Like I'm literally only at this press conference
So I don't get fined.
because they are going to take money from me if I don't sit in this seat. So I'm not going to answer any of your questions because you people don't care. He said that you don't care about me. Tomorrow y'all will run an article on me that I need to be out the league. So I don't care to answer any of y'all questions. So I'm just going to sit here so they don't take money from me. Like, and that was like raw honesty. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know the arena that I'm in. I signed up to be in it. So these are the parameters that I have to abide by. But these are the steps I'm going to go to like cover my ass.
Yeah, but it ain't honestly it ain't nobody who abide by this matrix that don't have some kind of where they have to acquiesce to what society wants them to do. Except Kanye at this moment, but there's nobody else. Not even Trump. Trump said and did whatever the fuck he wanted to do, even when he was president. But when they asked him about this J-Unit shit, he was like, "Hey man, I don't know what Kanye got going on."
He never made an apology though. Trump never made him no apologies, did he?
Nah. That's what I'm saying though. But in this moment now, when Kanye was like, "Yo, Trump didn't win this time because he didn't have enough for the J Unit on this side," and then the media asked Trump about that shit, he's like, "Hey man, Kanye crazy, bro."
I mean, we know what's up. Do you see what Charlamagne said, bro? I'm getting uncomfortable, bro. Like,
Yeah.
stop
Yeah.
asking me about these people, bro. I'm like literally
so it
physically
ain't-
uncomfortable, bro.
It
Like,
ain't.
Does he know? Yes, he
I
knows.
put Charlamagne in that Shaq, Charles Barkley category.
Now Charlamagne a real something because it's a clip of him saying
Yeah, it
the
is.
exact same thing
yeah.
that Kanye is saying,
Yeah.
and he was
That's
saying
all you
it.
need.
He was saying it
That's
to
all
a
you
Jewish man. The
Yeah.
Jewish man is an atheist,
Too.
but still.
But bro, it's like I don't even.
That's the issue. He's kinda.
Bro said I don't feel comfortable talking about this,
I
bro.
ain't seen what he said, but I believe it.
Bro, he was getting physically like unnerved, bro.
Yeah.
That they kept asking him questions and he was trying to answer them in a certain way, and then he was like, bro, like.
Stop.
He was like, bro, I don't want to talk about this no more. Like, I'm getting physically uncomfortable.
He under so many umbrellas too.
Charlamagne.
I mean,
Because they was asking him about
it's
that community.
It's certain shit that, like Charlamagne, he worked for RH Media. Well, really is just Clear Channel, but RH Media is the name that they go with because it's the most popular. But Clear Channel, if you look at what a Clear Channel is, that's like one of the biggest broadcasting companies. And you go deeper and see who own that, and you'll know why Charlamagne says, "Hey man, y'all relax."
Somebody I saw heard, and I might have shared it with you guys, but somebody said something like treating Kanye the way you're treating him by kicking his money out of your bank, ending all the contracts. They said this is a really good way to show him that y'all are not what he said you are. Right?
But I think that's what people don't understand is these people don't care that you know.
There you go.
They just saying don't talk about it. Like it's not. Nobody say, hey man, this guy, hey, we not bad guys. They just saying, hey, don't talk about it. This is what happens. We talk about it.
This is what happened. Real gangsters, man.
It's like if somebody can take your lunch money every day and you never do nothing about it.
They're gonna take your lunch money every day.
Yeah, that's like if the principal taking your lunch money. It's like, what do we do?
Or it's like when the cop tell you get out the car.
Yeah, it's like,
and you like, but I ain't.
I'm a sovereign citizen. For penal code. Sir, get out of the car, man.
I gave you my license. I don't want to answer no questions. I said get out the car. I'm gonna have to break the window. All right, bro.
You got it, man.
You got it, bro.
You mentioned mental health, and definitely got to because they're labeling these guys as somebody who has a mental health issue. So, what are the matters that matter about mental health? What are the things that matter about being in a healthy state of mind? You know, because I think it's fair to say that based upon some of the things that we just said, that we can define some of the stuff that was said under the umbrella of we're living under siege. How do you be healthy that way?
Do you know what healthy looks like?
See, that kind of ties into the question I asked before. Like, do we know what a successful black man looks like? And if he is successful, is he healthy?
Maybe it just comes down to just living for you and your family. I mean, and that's a successful black man. You know what I'm saying? Or successful man, period. Because when you get into this trying to fix something or trying to overcome and things like that, it's just things that's just not gonna happen. I mean, how many years we coming down this rabbit hole? It's the same rabbit hole.
Yeah.
We already talked about the design system and how it's the web. You just gotta come to realization. It's just really just not gonna happen for us. So it's a successful man is really a man that's taking care of his family.
Why do you keep alluding to somebody else other than the black man?
I'm
just saying, period. I'm just saying a successful man, period.
No, but the question was black man.
Well,
so
a successful black man.
Why you keep talking about some other man?
A successful black man.
Either way, it don't matter if they black, green, or blue.
Yeah.
So that wasn't the question. That's why I'm asking why you talking about some other man.
Because I'm gonna say, like, we live in a sick society, bro. Which means everybody on this planet, we get limited to just black men. It's a sick society. We gonna always have bouts of what they call a mental health issue, because at some point you're gonna realize this is sick.
Yeah.
You having a mental health issue? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying
just period. Like you're saying, it's just a sick environment and world that we're living in, and it's almost sad to say, but there's no overcoming it. There's no fixing it. There's no overcoming it. You're successful if you can thrive within it. for you and your family.
And you went to that based on me saying why you keep talking about somebody other than black man?
No, I didn't. But to Black's point, you know, poor white man, they in the same, not in the same boat, but it's the same thing.
I think I would say that we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
It's like the same. Okay, so historically speaking, white folks are told that because they're white, they're better than black people.
Right, they have more privilege.
Black people are told that because they're black, they're less than white people.
Yes.
Both people have been told a lie. Right? You're not less than because you're black, and you're not better because you're white. That's just an untrue. Right? But if you can get people to believe it, right? As Black said, just because you believe it don't make it true, but if you believe it, it make it true. So I say the war is fought on all fronts at all times, right? So you got to know what you're dealing with. I think it allows you to exist in a space where you can have compassion, right? It allows you to be in a space where you can see outside of, like, you can see more than just with your eyes, right? It allows you to be able to listen and listen in stereo, right? Because, like, when I'm listening to these people on these platforms and they're talking about whatever it is they're talking about, right now there's a lot of conversation about Kanye, there's a lot of conversation about Kyrie. When you listen in stereo, you can hear more than the one thing that they want you to say. More than the one thing they're saying, you can hear all of what can be said when they're saying whatever it is that they're saying. So then now when you talk back, because it's real easy to get caught up in surface conversation, right? But when you go deeper, and then you go deeper, and I think I would enjoy a moment where I could sit down with somebody like a Shaquille Oneal when he's on his platform and just ask him some questions. Like, did you watch the movie? Did you see anything in the film that you would say is anti-Semitic? Do you really believe that, based upon the little bit that you may know about Kyrie Irving, do you really believe that he hates this group of people? You know, just ask some real simple questions and watch them answer them. But they get to stand there and talk. Because they get to stand there and just talk. And nobody gets to challenge what they say when they're saying it. Right? That's the thing that needs to happen. When Corey Holcomb was snapping off about this whole situation, he was starting calling people anti-Semitic. He said, don't talk to Kyrie, come talk to me. Let me bring y'all some of the contracts that y'all have offered me. Right? And you can bring anybody else in this industry that you have offered a contract, and let's sit down and read those contracts, and you tell me who's really anti-who. Right? So we are in a sick society. And I don't see yet how you can be, quote unquote, financially successful in the sick society without being sick. Right? So now we're talking about, so then when you talk about what are the things that matter about mental health? Well, I think everything matters about it, but then the question is, what does that look like? What does a healthy being looks like? And I don't know that there is a such thing. I said on the last show we did when I was quoting Dr. Alan Berger. He said, we're all victims of victims, which makes none of us victims. It's just the way it is. So basically where you are is where you should start. And if you can get to a place where you can have real empathy, have some real compassion. That's why I like to kind of get things around unconditional love, right? Because we've said on here, there's no such, you can't have unconditional love because there's just so much that comes with it and the way we want to love in this society, you got conditions, right? But you can have unconditional love for people, but you gotta first have unconditional love for yourself, right? Because I'd say you get who you are, right? At the moment you are that thing. So you have unconditional love for yourself. It will allow you to have love and compassion for other people, because you know when you can see how in this I had this moment, and when I was in that moment, it would have been cool if the people around me had cared for me this way, right? But you understand that that's not how they operate, that's not how they move. So you now know that, okay, well, I can love myself the way I imagine them loving me. And then now, because I can love myself this way, I can also love other people this way. So first, having unconditional, you need the goal in terms of like, and I say this to folks all the time, the goal when you're parenting and you're grandparenting the children that you are, who are your children and your grandchildren, unconditional love should be your number one priority. It should be your number one priority, because when just like imagine what it's like to not give a doggone about whatever else is going on in the world, right? I liken that to the experience, and I'm going to mess this up because I'll go to the registration Christian in the room. When Jesus was walking on water, right? And he called who to walk with him?
Peter.
He called Peter to walk with him.
Yeah.
He called Peter to walk with him. And Peter took his eyes off of him and began to sing. Right? When he focused on where he was able to get, he rose back up and he was able to walk on water. What I'm saying is unconditional love allows you to be able to walk on water. Unconditional love allows you to be calm in a storm. There's going to be a storm, right? But you can be somebody that's screaming and hollering and running and panicking in the storm, or you can be somebody who's, hey man, this is another beautiful day. Mm-hmm. And I think that starts with you being able to love yourself unconditionally.
But that scares a lot of people though.
Absolutely.
Loving yourself, knowing yourself, dealing with those dark thoughts or demons, quote unquote. It's hard for a lot of people to come to copes with themselves and to face those things within themselves. So to your point, one society, when people can actually get past those things and actually look at themselves in the mirror and love who they see, then then the unconditional love and all that stuff.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I said children and grandchildren.
Right.
Right? Because it's not easy, right? I'm a life coach. My thing is relationships. I have this conversation with people all the time, and you know what? They don't want to. They want to get with somebody else, and they want that person that they get in a relationship with to love them the way they refuse to love themselves.
That's right.
Right? They want that. And to tell them, well, I've heard this question. Well, why even get in a relationship? Right? Why should I even get in a relationship? If I'm going to be in a relationship, if I have to love myself so that I don't need anybody else to love me, but I can know real, true love, why would I get in a relationship with somebody else? These are the questions.
So what's the answer?
I'm not going to say that on there. You want to see that? You have to hit me up, Coach Baruti, on YouTube, and we'll get you booked for a session. We'll get you booked for a session.
Where they get you at? You said YouTube?
No, I didn't say YouTube. I said Coach Baruti on all platforms. You can get me on Instagram. You can get me on Facebook. You can get me on Twitter. Okay, and we'll have that conversation. but the reality is I think that's where it starts. That's where it starts. But it's difficult for people to see that. It's very difficult for people to see that because we have basically told you we've told people you need to get with somebody who's going to love you the way you deserve to be loved. Which I think is crazy, because if you don't love yourself the way you deserve to be loved, it's going to be impossible for the other person to love you the way you deserve to be loved, because you don't even know what you deserve.
Now, just a few seconds ago, you told people to hit you up on all your platforms. What they doing when they hit you up on your platform? They booking the session? What they doing?
Yes, that's what I said.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear
You didn't hear that part?
that. I didn't even
Okay, you were listening with them wife ears. You were selective hearing. So they trying to make these guys apologize, forcing them to apologize, force them to apologize. Can you really consider that an apology?
What, when you force somebody to apologize?
Yeah. You tell
You know what that is.
You got. I mean, when I saw the list that they say are the things that Kyrie has to do to get reinstated, I saw that list and I was like, they want him to quit.
What's
Nah,
on
they
the
want to
list?
break him, but they know he's not going to quit.
They want him to quit. So they want him to quit. You ask an impossible, you ask a really tough thing for a man to do. And then, and here's the thing. Publicly.
They don't want him to
What's on the
quit.
list?
Publicly.
What's on the list?
They,
Go ahead.
no. Go ahead.
Well, I know a couple. Like, it's 6 things. I know one, he has to meet with the owner, which is, the owner is Jewish, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Jewish?
He got to condemn and apologize. He got to condemn the documentary. He
Yeah.
has to
He got to
apologize.
condemn he got to condemn the
Condemn the documentary.
Condemn, yes.
Yeah, he has to condemn it publicly and apologize. He has to donate $500,000 to the Anti-Defamation League.
which he was already doing.
Yeah, he has to sit with some Jewish
Rabbis,
leaders. In Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Then he has to sit with this guy Joe Tsai,
which is the owner.
the owner. Yeah, and like show that he's been through whatever training they called it. Training.
But one of the things is he has to go through that
sensitivity
training.
training.
Yeah.
What is it?
Sensitivity training.
Yes,
Ooh, I hope he don't
but it
do
doesn't
that.
say how long. It doesn't say how long he has to stay in
I
that
do.
training, which is
I
weird.
hope he
I
don't do
think
none
it
of
was
that.
one more. It was like 6.
It was 6.
He got to meet with you gonna make him meet with a rabbi man,
Yeah.
A whole different person.
and then you're gonna make him.
He'll be fine though because
What'd you say?
he
Condemn the film?
Yes.
Why would he condemn the film?
They say it has anti-Semitic
But why would he condemn?
tones in it.
He didn't write the film.
But see,
He didn't make the film?
here's another. But he posted it.
Okay, so
No, wait. Control what you can control. He posted it.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, I find it interesting that they're not going after Amazon. They're not calling Amazon anti-Semitic.
And what about the person who wrote it?
Hold on. No. Hold on. We're not going after children. We're going after the big dog. Amazon has the documentary on their platform, and they're not calling Amazon anti-Semitic.
But you know
and Amazon, if I heard this correctly, you used to be able to watch the documentary for $5. They are now charging you $11 to watch it, so they're actually making more money off the thing now.
$27 last time they shit.
Right, so they jacked up the price of the documentary to keep making money off it, and they're not calling them anti-Semitic.
And Amazon don't work, but Amazon don't work for the NBA.
Not right now, but they're in talks because they just got the NFL game and they're trying to get NBA.
Yeah,
so
but
they're keeping the partnership.
Right.
I mean,
But we know it ain't about that. But we know it's not.
I mean, the
about
truth
that.
is, it don't. Even if Kyrie do all that stuff, it don't matter because they forced him to do it. He already doubled down. He already tripled down. He already explained his point. And so if he be like, "Hey, I'm sorry if I made anybody feel," then I'll be like, "All right, I see you, baby. You did what you had to do," because he already done told you what it was. So
yeah,
like,
but would it be more honorable and respectable for him to stand on it, to do a Colin Kaepernick, to do a Kanye West,
you don't need my honor,
or to
bro.
come out and
Go
apologize?
feed your family, bro.
Kaepernick was done anyway, man.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear about
go
that.
feed your family, man. You don't gotta.
I know the stance that Jus'Black take, but the man was not done.
It's not a stance. He was done.
I see P.J. Walker on the NFL field. Colin Kaepernick was not done. P.J.
What?
Walker has started 6 games this year.
When Colin Kaepernick
and
was
he has not thrown for over 100 yards in
when
one of them
Colin
games.
Kaepernick was
Colin's
kneeling,
not done.
when Colin Kaepernick was kneeling, when did he go in the game?
He was a reserve quarterback.
No, when did he?
There's
he was-
32 second string quarterbacks. There's 32 third string quarterbacks.
He was done,
Like, come on, man.
He was done.
That's not done.
He was-
Those people are earning like $10
The
million
NFL had
checks.
to figure him
Yeah,
out, bro.
Okay, so
done.
he could be a
Yeah.
reserve quarterback. He's not earning an NFL check. There's guys that wouldn't start for Edgewater High School right now that is getting NFL checks being second and third string quarterbacks. That's what the public that I
Yeah,
said.
they probably had a high football IQ too. Colin Kaepernick didn't have that.
He was done, man.
The man could have been a second, third string quarterback. Y'all, come on, man. Don't. Come on, man.
done.
He was a
Give
flash
him
in the
that.
pan, bro.
He was done, man.
Okay.
Then you started wearing the afro, now you
He
so
started
black.
rocking black
Come on, man.
face.
You gotta
Yeah,
stop.
That's why y'all, man. Tell the truth.
started doing
That's why
blackface.
y'all doing
I'm not
that.
even mad. I think
tell the truth.
I think it's funny that people are so
I
passionate
just see
about
it.
somebody.
It's just
He
obvious.
was just-
It was pandering.
He played the game, bro. He played the game. He beat it. Y'all bought Nike like they was the sheepies, and y'all like, oh man, he's standing for us.
And does Nike got to deal with the NFL?
Yes,
And then they didn't deal with him?
yes.
Come on,
They
bro.
sold guns to both sides. Y'all like, oh, look at Nike. He's standing with us.
Let's be.
Y'all gotta stop, man.
Yeah, man.
Y'all gotta stop. You start wearing the afro, bro. You raised by a white family, bro, and they rich.
That was a political.
Man, good still
That was
got
a
kid culture.
political.
The only
whatever
thing he
you
struggled
call
with was
it, bro.
picking his fro out. And you, oh man, look at Kaepernick. He's standing with us.
I'm gonna say
Y'all gotta
this.
stop, man.
I'm gonna say this. I pause when I see someone do something that resembles manhood in public, and then the powers that be go after them, and we support the powers that be. It just gives me reason to pause. I mean, I get it, right? Because I know where I am. Right? I know whose system this is. I know that programming takes place. Right? But it still just gives me reason to pause, and we'll have arguments about it. And I'm telling you, when I say arguments, just about conversation, we'll have arguments about it and conversation about it. Where we'll actually not even talk about what is there to talk about in terms of it being what it needs to be so that it can be better. Right? When the guy who used to own the Clippers, he said whatever it was, when he got caught up in that thing with that girl, and he said what he said.
Say don't bring no black dudes too much to the game.
Yeah, hey, if you want, you my side chicken. If you want to mess around with those brothers, go ahead and mess with them. But don't bring them to my game.
I mean, but in his defense, he was talking about Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson. So like,
Chill.
Man, Gibson said you're gonna get attacked by a pack of hard R's, whatever we call it.
Right.
He said, I hope you get attacked by a pack of them or something.
I mean,
like that.
in his defense, that is terrifying.
Yeah, a pack, bro, like
Okay.
a pack, like real animals, bro.
Remember when the NFL receiver for the Eagles was at the concert and was got into it with the black group and was like, "You effing NIGERs," he had all y'all, and it was on video. They caught it on video and everything. They didn't make him do 6.
Oh, Riley Cooper.
Yeah, Riley Cooper. They didn't make him meet.
I think he was actually talking to other white people. Believe it.
Nah, it was black.
He's talking to white people.
They didn't make him go meet a constitute of black people.
He did. They actually did though.
Hey, he probably joined the nation.
And that would have been hilarious. If they would have made him meet Farrakhan. You don't understand.
That boy would have been
Bow tied up.
that boy would have been on
He probably
point.
my brother.
He would have had the Kaepernick braids.
Now, but see, and my thing was at first, I was told that it said that the Holocaust wasn't real, but then somebody just came across and said it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that in it.
No,
That it didn't happen.
He questions it. He's like he doesn't make any definitive
Yeah,
statements.
he don't
throughout
say
the entire
anything
thing.
definitive. That's
the one.
That's why the genius of this whole thing is you could just be like, yo, you anti-Semitic, and then you be like, yo, how? And you be like, you just are. And that's
Because
it.
that question you even proposed hurt some people's feelings.
Yeah.
And that's what they're saying. Yeah.
And it's like, so that's a crime
To hurt people's feelings?
to propose a question
Yeah.
that's provocative
Yeah.
or controversial. That's
They
a
hurt-
crime.
They hurt our feelings all the time.
I mean, they don't hurt mine.
Well, you know, I mean,
You know what I'm saying? Because that shit
Generally-
is
generally-
whatever.
what?
But
That's
Generally
that-
speaking.
generally
that shit-
speaking,
that
that's what I'm
shit-
talking about. Yeah.
That shit is all the same, man. Like
I mean, yeah, you're right.
People can give you from point A to point B dissertation about how there was no Nina Pinta Santa Maria or there was no slave boats. There were no, and they can give you detail that we were here, and then they did this, they did that, and nobody be like, hey, that's offensive to the slave trade. It's like, but we just allow it, bro. Like nobody questions it, nobody says anything. There's a million different conspiracies, man. And the funny thing is, that's not a conspiracy that's that far fetched. To be completely honest,
Which one?
the one that you guys mentioned.
Keep up.
Okay.
Yo, but I just.
That's what it is, though. That's what it's mainly about. That's what it. And I ain't gonna say that's what I'm speculating that it's mainly about is what we're doing right now. It's just so that everybody gets comfortable and accustomed to doing that.
What is
So-
that?
Saying,
I ain't gonna say nothing.
yeah.
Saying.
What you mean? You know what I'm talking about. What are you talking about exactly? That thing that we was talking about earlier.
But that the thing is, it's always been like that because the Jewish people, these Jewish people, was doing the same thing that they're being accused of doing right now. Not even accused. What they're doing right now, they were doing this before the Holocaust. The Holocaust just gave them credence to be like, you can't question nothing we do because this happened to us. Literally. So like when you be like, yo, but what about actually before the Holocaust, y'all was doing this fucked up shit. Hey, but what about the Holocaust though? Remember?
If you, yeah, because the arguments are when someone says something, and this is something they say. Period. Like you hear it when you ask questions, try to understand the transgender movement. People say
You don't see me and you hate me.
Right. If you don't say what I want you to say when you're talking to me in the situation that I'm in, you are. You don't think I exist? You are committing a violent act.
Yeah.
They say you're actually you're committing a violent act against them because when they're not accepted, the suicide rate is so high, so that if you don't capitulate,
You killed me.
Or as Zoe Williams says, capitulate.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't capitulate in these situations, they get to say, okay, you're doing this. So,
What if they do something to me and then I commit suicide? That ain't no violence.
No, it's not. No, it's not about an act. Something's wrong with you.
There's no correlation.
Something wrong with me.
Something wrong with you.
Something wrong with me.
Something wrong with you. You should have got help.
I just got hit.
But that's how it is. That's why the conversation. That's why we said. That's why I was saying in the last episode that the lines are so blurred now about what is and what isn't, that anybody can be anything at any time. So, what is anybody?
Right, and you're not allowed to question it because then you get the ultimate gaslight in it's the same situation with this. You start saying stuff that has nothing to do with what we're actually
Talking about. Right. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about what we're talking about. And they will do a really good job. Well, I pat myself on the back. I'm pretty good at not letting you get off the topic.
Yeah, I'm not even going to have it. When you start talking about, because I don't agree with what you agree with, that I've contributed to people killing themselves.
Right.
That's ridiculous because that means that they have issue with identity that I can't fix. Even if I do be like, hey, yeah, I agree with you, man. You a woman.
Right.
Because that's what a woman is.
Right.
If you trying to convince me, that means you don't believe it. I never try to convince somebody of something I'm sure of.
I believe that falls back into the whole mental illness thing. You know what I'm saying? There's not, now that I think about it, I don't see really a clear depiction on what being mentally healthy looks like. There's a clear depiction on what being mentally unhealthy looks like. You know what I'm saying?
But who even determines that? You see what I'm saying?
Everybody.
But
You know
it's
what I'm
like,
saying? It's like, so, I don't even know how to word this. Never mind. I can't
okay,
say
there's a film that came out, Nicolas Cage movie called Con Air. Right? Con Air, right? Con Air came out. And there's a scene in the movie with Steve Buscemi who's supposed to be crazy, right? He tells a story about how he killed somebody and cut off and skinned their face and wore it on his face and drove across 3 states, something like that. So he's supposed to be crazy, right? And he's having a conversation with Nicolas Cage, and he says something to Nicolas Cage, and Nicolas Cage said, "But you're crazy." He said, "Well, I think that's relative, because some people could say working on a job for 30 years and retiring and being happy because you got a gold watch is insane." You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So who's to say
Right.
that what's what?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Right?
But that's what we all exist in this society.
Right.
And so we all are breathing these fumes. Like it's not none of us are like. That's why I don't get caught up in like if you decide that you identify as a woman, then that's fair. If you ask me if I agree with that, and I say no, which I don't, and you say that means that I hate you, I don't see you, you don't exist, or that I want you to die, these are things that are not true as well. And so now we're not able to have an honest dialogue or even a real coexistence. Because the thing is, I don't have to agree with you for us to coexist.
Correct.
I don't have to believe what you believe so that we can coexist.
Yeah, you're trying to dominate me with your opinion.
Right. And I don't. That's and then when we're doing that, that's not an honest relationship. I'm not disputing anything what you feel. When the verbiage starts to become, no, my feelings are paramount, so you have to feel how I feel.
No.
I don't subscribe to that with anybody, not even with a woman I'm dating or married to. I don't have to feel what you feel. I can have empathy that you feel that way. I can respect you having that feeling and then act accordingly. But if you ask me to agree or do I agree, I'm going to say no. Or I'm going to resign to not say anything at all. So anything else, I'm not saying you crazy. I'm not saying that something wrong with you. I'm saying that I don't agree that you're a woman, and that doesn't matter because we're not having a romantic relationship. That's the only reason why you being a woman should matter to me. Because I like women in a romantic way.
It's like for one minute, these people's opinions don't matter, but then you're trying to also force people to say their opinions so that you can like place them in a category.
Right.
But in the same breath, you can say my opinion, no matter what I think you, it don't matter. But then you could also try to get me to voice my opinion, even if I'm just trying to remain silent.
Right.
Because you're like, nah.
Yeah. No.
Say something.
Do you agree?
Like you gotta say something.
Yeah, no,
because silence, that's complicit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's violence. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I know when somebody's trying to dominate me.
Right.
I know when you're trying to dominate me, and that's goes with so many topics, not just that topic.
Right.
But it's like it's just a game. It's just a game of confusion.
And I don't play it. And that's why like you can't just because I don't say it out loud don't mean I don't think it. And so you can't control my thoughts. So if you want me to call you her, she, I'm the kind of person I will. If you want to be called, if we say from now on, refer to me as a penguin. I'm gonna say you a penguin, bro. Am I gonna treat you like a penguin? To an extent that it doesn't affect my life. If you outside my door and it's raining and it's cold, and you say, hey, I'm a penguin, I need some shelter, I'm gonna be like, bro, this ain't it. But I respect your ability to be a penguin. That's the reality of it. See, like we can't like live in reality. And so like that's why like this whole thing with Kyrie and Kanye and all these people, it's not even about if I agree. I disagree with groupthink, and I disagree with you making me feel like I have to agree with everything, and if I don't agree with you, then I hate you or you hate me. Mm-hmm. I lean more into it when I disagree, because it's like, okay, that's how you feel. Because that's you don't grow by agreeing with everything. You don't build by agreeing with everything. You just find yourself in this group thing that we in. That's how we get to the this whole thing with non-binary and she. We get here by feeling like we have to agree and acquiesce to everything. We have to agree because you feel this way. Feelings oscillate, man. Feelings change. Feelings go up and down. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad, sometimes you're mad, sometimes you're complicit.
Feelings over facts.
Yeah, so like, and it's like I don't denote your feelings, but I also will I'll ride it out till you don't feel that way. So if you decide that I feel this way, so this is the end all be all. So then when you feel another way, then I have to acquiesce to that. Then I'm confused.
Well, what was I think it was Olympia? It was one of these high schools. They had a trans homecoming queen, right?
Hmm.
Now, what if some of those girls in that school would have said they didn't agree with that, bro?
Right.
They would be like sensitive. They would be like phobic, transphobic, and they would be called all of these things because they said, hey, we think that a born girl should be homecoming queen instead of a trans girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not fair. Like that, they should be able to say that. They should be able to say that, and people be like, okay, I get how you feel that way.
What's the not fair? That they have to be quiet?
Yes. Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because they will get looked at as that they hate the whole community of people that's living what we call an alternative lifestyle.
Okay, so
and that's not it. It's just saying like, hey, we are girls, like we're born with girls, we have wombs, and you know what I'm saying, we have vaginas, and we're born female, and we want to have a shot at getting that homecoming queen.
Right, so if it was the homecoming queen, if it was a boy being the homecoming queen, they could say we don't want the boy, but because it's a trans person being the homecoming queen, they can't say we don't want trans.
Nah, they cheered and they everything, and they made headlines, and they were saying how their school is so progressive and how it was such a. I think it was Olympia, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I was just like, like you know what I'm saying, like.
Sound like Bruce Jenner when we were women of the year.
It sounds like what?
When I saw that, I mean, I knew that was a troll. You know what I'm saying? I knew that was a troll as soon as I saw that. You know what I'm saying? Because you haven't been a woman for a year, and you're the woman of the year.
Wow.
So it's like they're just using you to like set a political play in motion.
Right.
You know
but it's like shit like that where it's. I'm cool with you doing whatever. That's like Lil Richard. Lil Richard was gay his whole life, or like for a long time. And then he got to like 70. He was like, you know what? I repent to God. I'm not gay no more. That's when his life was over. He's had all his gay fun. Right? He had all his gay fun.
I'm not gay no more.
But now you feel like now I'm going to heaven. I want to go to heaven.
But you can do that.
You can do that. You can do that. And guess what? I'm gonna make a joke about it, and we gonna keep it moving. You beat the game, bro. You was able to have all your gay fun and go to heaven, bro. You beat the fucking game.
It's like everything is becoming blurred to it's like, what can you can take stuff serious, but like that's what you're saying about this manhood matter, because like part of your manhood is like, this is how I feel about this. Mm-hmm. Whether you do it, exactly what Jeremy's saying, whether you agree or disagree, I don't hate you, but this is how I feel about it. Right. Oh, nah, you're out of here. You're out of here.
You hate me.
Like, fuck, what? Like, y'all really want me to just muzzle myself and just go through life? Yeah, like, you want to castrate me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what they're doing to the boy.
I mean, one of my closest people in my life is trans, right? And I'm like, when they're just using y'all for a political thing.
Yeah.
Kyrie.
Yeah, I know that. Okay, as long as we can agree on certain things, because I love you.
But look,
I'm not gonna pretend like these people caring like they care about y'all for real. Stop playing. They don't. Stop it.
But I don't even care. I don't even care because I don't have to. Because like black people don't realize when they use black people to.
Yeah, like you really think? Yeah, all of a sudden, the first black model on this magazine. The first. Yeah, look at her go. Come on, y'all. They pandering. This is nothing against the model.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay, I get it. Somebody got a this and that. But now we gonna all go out and buy this magazine.
Yeah.
Doc, how's it going?
Good.
Like you can't win, you. I get it. I can't say what to do or what not to do because I get it. You're going out to support it because it's a historical moment. But at the same time, these people who put this model here, there might be some people in this company that actually care about this, but you telling me for 70 years this magazine didn't know that black women was beautiful? Like, so they just do this and then all is forgiven? Like, but that's been a thing in our community, right?
Yeah.
We just waiting to forgive you.
Yeah.
Right. But that's why I like.
Come on. You got a comment?
I got a question for our comment. What's the conversation? I guess is the question. The first question. Say something.
Let's see. The overall topic is it's a word game. We're talking about how words and language are used to create, manipulate the energy to get things to move in a direction just based off of fulfilling an agenda. So, so Kyrie and Kanye being called anti-Semitic. Mm-hmm. Did we watch? Did you watch the film? Did you see anything in the film? Did you hear Kanye say something that was anti-Semitic? Or we just riding the wave? We talked about the fact that we're talking about the fact that Charles Barkley, Kendrick Perkins, Shaquille O'Neal, Stephen A. Smith, all these brothers on the platform are calling Kyrie names and saying that he should be fired from the platform. It's like, is he not allowed to have? Is he not allowed to make an observation?
Right.
He's not allowed to share something. So, or are we just going to take any things out of context and just ride the wave because there's a way to ride?
I got you.
Way to ride.
I think I guess I'll start general and then specific. I guess so you're getting into the issue of morality and ethics, right?
Yeah.
So what's the rule? What's the standard versus what's acceptable within the context of what you call in the culture?
Right.
So our culture has, we talking about black culture, or we talking about American culture, or we talking about white culture?
All of it.
Right. So all of those, that's going to determine the rules as to how we judge and how we look at or determine what's acceptable, unacceptable, what's right, what's wrong. So for example, like when I walked in, y'all were talking about, so if I guess what would be a trans woman, I guess,
yes.
Wanted to go to prom and be the prom queen, well, what what ethic are we working from in the context of defining that being acceptable or unacceptable?
Right.
Are we coming from an LGBTQ, IA culture? Are we
Right.
coming from
Yes,
a black culture? Are we coming from the American culture? Are we coming from the European? So all of that has, so when we say what's acceptable, what's right, what's wrong, right? Same thing with from the standpoint of faith, how do we talk? I know one of the topics, I think what you all were discussing today was manhood or something in relation to what is a man, right? How do we define that and what becomes the basis for that? How we judge that? How we say this is acceptable, this is unacceptable? Now you have so many different distinctives. Nothing's clear.
Right.
So then how do you frame the conversation? So it's no longer so this gets into morality, right?
Right.
So then if you don't have a moral standard or a moral code, then how do you define what's acceptable, what's unacceptable, what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad? Because there's no standard for morality.
Right.
So then everything becomes, then it's just, then the same, I can argue with you and be like, okay, you say you're a man, I say, I'm a man just like you, and I may have a vagina, and you know what I'm saying? So that's the arena we're in right now. That's why the Democrats and the Republicans are going back and forth now, because there's no longer a standard, to say, even in politics and government, what's acceptable, what's unacceptable.
Right.
You're going to support somebody that's a flat out, liar, womanizer, no context of, once again, because we're talking about morality, right?
Right.
But ethics, you can accept that. You have somebody that's running against a certain person. They're a person of faith. They're a person of character. They're a person that's proven, that's vetted in their life and their lifestyle. But you say you're supporting a Christian agenda. What agenda are you supporting?
Right.
To support the views and the positions that you have. So, it's all subjective. So
Right.
it's no longer right. Nothing is subjective anymore. So
Right.
it's all subjective.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly what I'm saying. You like, bruh.
That's the whole point. Like, all this shit is subjective.
Right.
So the problem is when you take these things that are subjective and you make it so that it has to be definitive, and that it has to be because I feel this way. This is the fact.
Right.
Instead of us being able to say, hey, whatever you want to do with your life. That's how it used to be. Whatever you want to do with your life. Like, there's always been transgender.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We always went to church, and that something ain't right there. But if that's how you living,
Right.
that's your business.
Right.
But and on that side of the fence, you knew not to ask, what do you think? Because you know what I think.
Right. But see, even what you're saying proved that there was still a standard. There was still a moral code that checked to say this is unacceptable.
Not even unacceptable, but it's just like, that's you, baby. That's you.
I don't agree with that. There's a moral code that says, so since we're talking about the church, all right, so there are a whole lot of gay people in the church. There are a whole lot of lesbians in the church. There are a whole lot of, we're talking about the Christian faith, so I'm assuming that's what you're referring to. So there are a lot of people with a lot of sexual persuasions, proclivities, appetites, whatever you want to call it, right? But they also understand people that may have those desires that are in the faith also understand that there is a point by which they can operate, even engaging in that type of a lifestyle or culture, that there's two separate cultures. There is a church culture, right, which may not have anything to do with the Word of God, which may have nothing to do with the Scriptures, but there's an alternative culture or a lifestyle that they choose to live, right? And then when they understand when it comes to issues of the faith, there's also a culture, there's a church culture, right? that's also that may not be biblical. It's just these are the things that we call it the we believes, right? So these are all the things. This is our code of conduct that we agree we're gonna live by, right? So like when I came, I'm 54. So when I came up, if a young boy walked a certain way, looked a certain way, you know, play with God with that you know, that child, he's special. You know, we gonna have to, let's get some of the men of the church to get around him, because, you know, we see he just, you know, he got a little bit too much sugar in his tank, whatever, you know, that's, and
that was
so
the language at the time, right?
Right, that was a time frame. And that was, once again, because there was an understanding, there was, what I'm saying is there was a code, there was a moral code. Whether it was something that everybody agreed with or not, didn't agree with, there was an understanding. In the same way, within our culture, we talk about, you know, interracial relationships. You're right. You can do whatever you want to do, but in the context of the culture, there is an overall understanding that if you choose this type of a relationship, that also comes with a certain level of expectations, certain burden, certain challenges, because that's a choice, right?
Right.
But that's out. What I'm saying is, everything, those individualistic choices, still, at some point, there's still a code of ethics, and there's still a moral code.
It's like a dividing line.
Right, that still brings you to a center to say, you understand that there's consequence, whether it's positive or negative, even with your choices. And we have that within our, you know, especially as black men, as a black culture, we have that within our culture. So nothing is, I hear what you're saying, you're right, that part is subjective. But when it comes to the whole or the community, there's still we all understand there are unwritten rules, and we understand there's a moral code.
Right. So, but the point is, the problem is, it's no longer a line. Is if you don't agree, then that's hate speech. If you don't agree, you wish death on me. This is the real verbiage that's being used. Real verbiage.
Right, but here's my challenge to what you're saying. Doesn't that prove that there's a moral code?
No, that means that if you don't agree with me, then you think I should die. That transcends any code. It's saying that you can't place any code or anything around me if it's not in line with what I believe. Right. That's morality. But no, morality doesn't include if you don't feel how I feel, then you are at odds with me or you're against me. You understand?
But it does.
Does it?
Yeah.
So
look at the Ten Commandments.
So that's we're not talking about. We're talking about if you think something is immoral as a person,
right.
not Ten Commandments, not God,
right,
but
right,
you as a man, if you say that's immoral,
right?
Do you hate that person who's doing something immoral, or do you hate the immoral?
It could be either or.
Could it?
Yeah.
But it could be that you actually don't hate that person at all, right?
True, right. That's what I'm saying. It could be either or. That part of it, what you're saying, that part of it is subjective.
Right.
All I'm saying to you is the fact that there's a rule that if you judge me because of this, like you were saying, you gave, I'm not sure the example you were referring to, but you were saying if a person makes a judgment based on somebody's lifestyle or whatever, you'd be ostracized from the community, you could lose your life, you could be killed. That what I'm saying is that principle in and of itself becomes morality. So that's a moral code.
This is what I'm getting. Let me be very clear.
Okay.
Because when you say it's either or, the problem is we've come to a point where it can't be either or.
It's like default.
Yeah, it's like now it's like you're a trans. You say you're a trans man.
Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm. You were born a woman. You identify as a woman. You're going through the same whatever it means to be a trans man. Right. If I say, now you're born a woman, you're a woman, and you say, then you hate me.
Right.
then that's not either or. That's definitive. You definitively hate me because you disagree with me.
Right. And that would be an issue of morality.
Yeah, but then there's no either or. There's no black and white. It's just that.
That is black and white in the context of the ethic that person is speaking
But the
from.
grounds of
That is black and white.
But that statement is made on grounds that's purely speculative or just like emotionally based.
Yeah,
It's not based in logic.
Because I'm just saying
You know what I'm saying?
disagree.
It's not based in logic.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not talking about the basis of the reasoning.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is the line itself, the fact that there is a line. The line creates because when we talk about
A new moral code.
Right. I'm just talking about the culture.
No, I get where you're going.
Right. The culture is saying if you judge somebody that's of this persuasion, that's considered hate speech.
But that's not
Not even judge. I just don't agree with your.
That's not judging.
Yeah, I just
That's what I mean by that. There's no line when you start using verbiage like judge.
But let me be specific.
That's not the same as disagree.
When I use the term judge just means to render a decision. That's what the word judge means, to render a decision. I've made a decision on a situation. That's a judgment.
I don't agree with your talking point.
So if I don't agree with the position, right, or if I don't agree with what someone says, I'm making a decision to say, I hear what you're saying, I don't agree with what you're saying. I don't believe that to be true, or I don't believe that to be factual, or I don't believe that to be accurate, right? And I make a decision and say, I'm deciding that what you're saying is an untruth. I'm saying that process is a judgment. Mm-hmm. That's a decision.
Okay.
It doesn't justify the decision. It doesn't mean the decision is right or wrong. It's just making a decision. What I'm saying is we are living in a culture where what we have understood culture to be, there's another culture, if I could say it that way, that sort of superimposed itself over the existing culture or the previous culture that's now saying this is now the acceptable culture. And if you don't conform or you don't believe or you don't agree within this context of the culture, then the culture is saying from a standpoint of morality, your decision is not even moral.
It's like a witch hunt, basically.
Right.
Because there was a
The lines are blurred.
Because look,
Right.
and even with not even disagree, but to the point with your boy Kyrie with the jab.
I hear what you're saying.
Your boy Kyrie with the jab, he didn't say I'm against it or I'm for it. He just said, man, hey, I don't have the information at this time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, I don't got nothing bad to say about it. I don't got nothing good to say about it. I just want to do some research. You know, I just want to get a more of a feel of it and understand it more before I speak on it or before I make a decision. And they were like, no!
Right. That was crazy.
Nah, bro. You need to make a decision right now.
You need to
And
get
you know which one it needs to be.
That's a perfect example because all he was saying was, I did some research, I did some study, I did some investigation about some stuff that I wanted to look up. I wanted to look up the definition of Yahweh, and that looking up a name of what I understood Lord, looking up Kyrio, you know, he went to the Greek and everything.
Yeah.
And it was like, and it took him on this journey of discovery. And he was being, so I'm going to use the word loosely again, he was being judged, right, based upon his own personal process of discovery.
Right.
For sure.
You understand? He was being, they immediately labeled him in the context of the new culture, right? What you're doing is anti-Semitic. No, it's not. I'm just trying to I'm coming into an understanding and a self-awareness for myself.
Right.
And that's really all he was doing. And that's all he is doing.
And he shared something that he shared something that might have hit him a certain kind of way.
Right.
And because you don't like how he hit you, right? So
That's right.
Now it's another thing.
He called himself an omnis.
Right.
He says I call myself an omnis, which means one that believes and finds truths in every religion.
Right. Right.
Because he got Hamza hands and different symbols and different things from different kinds of religions on his IG.
Right.
But it was when he went there, nobody had nothing to say about that when he posted a Buddhist symbol
Right.
for warding away evil spirits, or he got it tattooed, or whatever. That's fine. But when it's Hebrews to Negroes,
Yeah.
now
Right.
hold on.
Hey, boy, what you trying to say?
Hold on, what you mean, bro?
What
You
you
know we
doing?
the ones paying you this much. You
What
know
you
we got the
doing?
TV contracts that got you playing on TV, right?
Yeah.
You know the shoes we run that.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Just do your little other thing, man.
Just dribble the ball.
Okay,
Yo,
the Buddhist
man.
people to
Yo,
put you on
man.
TV and pay you $30 million.
I just thought there's so much phoniness.
It's dangerous where we at, man.
There's so much phoniness about how they're even handling the situation.
Right.
Shannon Sharpe said, Kyrie wants everybody to think that he's the smartest man in the room. So
I don't believe that.
so I'm like, did Kyrie tell you that?
Right,
Or are you making a judgment?
right.
And what is it based on?
Then he came back and said they doing him wrong.
Right.
He said, I have been very critical of Kyrie. Bruh, you said everything to this man that is so... Bruh, you would want somebody saying that about your son, bruh, and you not in the same room as him? I have been very critical of Kyrie. Bruh, you talking crazy about the man. Now you talking about they doing him wrong. What they doing is wrong.
Only after his boy LeBron came with saying that, I think
They're going too far.
I don't support
Right.
hater. Oh,
Right,
LeBron said that?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
LeBron just said that yesterday or something?
That's right.
And that's when Shannon Sharpe came.
That's right.
You know, Shannon Sharpe said he was a LeBron fan.
I
So
would
after
say consider the source.
yeah,
Right.
Hey,
exactly.
green light LeBron to say that?
No, well, he said the first statement first. He was like,
I don't support hate of any kind.
Right. And then he said, but I think the punishment is excessive for Kyrie. That was.
And I'm just, I would like, I mean, like we've been saying here all night, you saying that I hate you. What did I say that says I hate you? What did I do that says I hate you? We're not, those are important questions to ask, and those people that they have on those platforms who are talking and talking down on this man who's standing up for himself, he's standing in his manhood, and he was like, yo man, he said, I'm not doing what y'all saying. That's not me. And it was almost like how I interpreted a couple of his comments. Like, if I even answer your questions, right, I'm agreeing with you that I am the thing that you're saying that I am, and I'm not that. So I can't even answer that question because I don't want to be in agreement with you. Because if you know law, right, you go into a courtroom. The number one thing that courtroom has to do that needs to be established when you're in that courtroom is something you have to say or do something that shows that you are submitting to their jurisdiction. Now you belong to them. Now you belong to them. So if he answers the question, he's submitting to their jurisdiction. He's saying, yeah, okay, the way you look at it is the way I should look at it. And I don't look at it that way.
Or their culture.
Right.
Because
So,
because what that whole, because now you hitting on something, I'm gonna let you finish, but that really what they were trying to redefine his presentation.
right. So, listen, I was in high school, and I can't remember the name of the book, 9th grade, and we got in the time we were supposed to read this book, and we were supposed to answer these questions. And the questions were framed in a way where I had to say something good about some white soldiers who had ran through a Native American village and did all these horrible, they cutting up, they stomping babies, and I was supposed to answer these questions in a way that was in favor of the soldiers. And I was like, I don't see nothing good here. So I'm talking to my mom, and my mom said, maybe just do the best you can on the assignment and write what you see. I did that. I did F on the assignment. I just went to the office, called my mom. right? My mama come up to the school, she sits there, and the principal and the teacher are trying to explain that how I didn't do the assignment. My mom said, "You're trying to tell my son what to see." He told you, gave him an assignment. He was supposed to tell you what he saw. He told you what he saw, and you're giving him an F because he won't say what you want him to say. She said, "We'll take the F, or you can change it. It's up to you." I got an A. And I didn't have no more problems with her name was Miss White. I didn't have no more problems with Miss White. Right? I had no more problems with Miss White. But, so I'm saying, like, I know that I kick against the grain. Right? I don't look and see, I can see what you want me to see, but I can see more than what you want me to see. So 9 times out of 10 when we're engaged in a conversation, I'm like, okay, I see you that, but have you considered this? People don't want to consider this. Now you're making me uncomfortable. Because you're asking me to look at something in a way that I never looked at it before. I don't want to look at it that way. Because you're asking me to consider things that I don't want to consider. Because, this is an old saying, once you know better, you got to do better. People don't want to know better. Because a responsibility comes with that. And I'm kind of like happy where I'm at. So then when we're talking about what manhood is and what manhood looks like, there have been black men in this culture that I think are successful black men. But in terms of what a successful black man is, especially right now, according to those platforms that are criticizing Kyrie and Kanye, all the conversations about money. Kyrie lost this. You should have shut up. Kyrie, you finna lose this. You finna lose that. So you're saying they should shut up and just be bald. And I'm not telling nobody what to do, right? But when it comes to like being respected in your community and being respected even in your own home, right? If you're gonna let another man tell you to shut up and you shut up in front of your woman, why is she gonna listen to you? Why are your children gonna listen to you? Right? If you can't, and so historically speaking, we have had to shut up for so long. Right? They had laughing barrels on the sidewalks in the community, in predominantly white communities. So if we standing around talking and one of us say something funny, we can't laugh in front of the white folks because they may think we're laughing at them. So we have to actually run and put our head in the barrel to laugh. We've had to be quiet for so long. So when I see us telling us to shut up, that's reason for me to pause and say, wait a minute. What are you doing to us? We don't do it, and they don't have that same energy, that same vitriol when it comes to other groups. Right? Brett Favre stole some money, and they talked about it, but not with this energy.
But it's different.
Right?
It's different with us because, and this goes back to what I was talking about. It's the psychology of the black man, which is you're not supposed to exude authority, power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or any form of dominance.
Right. Don't even look him in the eye.
Exactly.
Right. So and now, like, generations have gone by, and we just kind of naturally do that. We just kind of naturally stay in our place, right? And I'm saying naturally, but it feels natural. We say natural now, but it's really programmed, right? I've talked about this when we use a little, coming out of slavery. Your mama taught you what to do to survive, and what to do to survive was keep your mouth shut. Don't look like you're smart. Don't come across as being someone who is strong. Don't do any of the things that anybody from the other group can interpret as you being a man. Because if you do, then they will buck break you.
Right.
Nick Cannon said that to somebody on the platform. He was talking to a guy in an interview, and he said, what they doing with Kyrie. He said, this is wild. This list, is trying to butt break him. And the guy said, I'm sorry, I don't even know what that is. They kind of had to explain to the white man what butt breaking is.
True.
Right?
They got 20 million up by
Yeah, they got, yeah.
20 million.
Yeah.
To my 500,000.
So we definitely got to keep having these conversations. We gotta continue to define and then redefine what things are. Of course, you got to take other things into consideration because the world is changing. Right? The world is changing, and I am of my way of looking at it is you need to make sure you have some say so in the change that's coming, or you're just going to be lost in the wash. Because you know nothing stays the same. The change is coming, and if you ain't actively involved and having some say so in what the change looks like, man, you just gonna be in the wind. You're just gonna be in the wind. All right, it's late. We got to get out of here. We want to thank everybody again for tuning in. Next show is December 10th. Save the date. We're going to have a conversation about money, finance. So see you next time. Thank you for tuning in. All right, man. Oh, you finally made it.
I finally made it. Yeah, I'm talking shit.
Good to see you too, man. Good to see you.
I was up working. I got home and he was at the game. I was like,
Yeah, man, imagine
checking
that.
my business. I saw y'all was still on
Bro.
Oh, yeah.
Been on the
Here's what, 10 to 1.